The courtroom was tense. The crowd whispered quietly as the judge called the session to order. At the center, Lieutenant Commander Maya Bennett sat in the defendant's chair, her wrists cuffed tightly in front of her. A decorated SEAL sniper, Maya had always carried herself with calm confidence, but today, she was restrained, her reputation on the line. The charges were serious, and no one in the room seemed willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. Whispers circulated about insubordination and misconduct during a recent mission. Despite her decorated service record, the prosecution painted her as reckless. Maya's lawyer fought to have the handcuffs removed, arguing she was no flight risk and a respected member of the military. But the judge denied the request, citing courtroom security and the weight of the allegations. As the hearing dragged on, the tension only grew. Maya's supporters sat silently, unsure how to break through the growing wave of skepticism. Suddenly, the courtroom door opened. All eyes turned as a tall figure in a sharp admiral's uniform stepped inside. The room fell completely silent. The admiral's presence was commanding, every eye locked onto him as he made his way steadily toward the judge's bench. His name was Rear Admiral James Thornton, a highly respected leader with decades of service and a reputation for fairness and integrity. Whispers spread quickly, why was an admiral here for this case? Maya's lawyer exchanged a glance with her, a flicker of hope lighting in his eyes. Admiral Thornton stopped just a few feet from the bench and raised his hand slightly, signaling for the room's attention. Your Honor, he began, his voice deep and authoritative, I have been following this case closely. Lieutenant Commander Bennett is one of our finest. Her record is impeccable, and the accusations currently being leveled against her do not align with the truth as I understand it. The judge nodded, inviting him to continue. Thornton turned slightly to face the courtroom. I request an immediate review of the evidence presented and a suspension of the handcuffs while we conduct a thorough investigation. Lieutenant Commander Bennett's service and sacrifice must be respected, and we cannot let procedural decisions cloud our judgment. A murmur of agreement spread through the courtroom. Maya's eyes met the admiral's for a brief moment, there was a calm assurance in his gaze that steadied her nerves. The judge paused, clearly weighing the admiral's words carefully. After a moment, he nodded. Very well. The handcuffs will be removed pending the investigation. We will reconvene once new information has been reviewed. As the cuffs were unlocked, relief washed over Maya. But more importantly, a renewed sense of hope sparked within her and her supporters. The admiral gave a firm nod, signaling that this was not just a request, but a commitment to uncovering the truth. Outside the courtroom, the atmosphere shifted. What had started as a battle to defend Maya's honor was now transforming into a fight for justice, one that would reveal much more than anyone expected. As the courtroom began to empty, Maya felt the weight of the moment settle on her shoulders. The removal of the handcuffs was more than just a physical relief, it was a sign that someone powerful believed in her innocence and was willing to fight for it. Later that evening, in a quiet conference room within the military base, Rear Admiral Thornton met privately with Maya and her legal team. His presence filled the room with an undeniable sense of purpose. Lieutenant Commander Bennett, he began, I've reviewed the preliminary reports, and I'm concerned. The charges against you seem to be based on a misinterpretation of events and, frankly, a rush to judgment. Maya listened intently, grateful for the Admiral's candor. Sir, I want the truth to come out. I didn't act recklessly, I followed orders and prioritized the mission's success and the safety of my team. Thornton nodded. That is why I'm initiating a full investigation by a neutral panel. They will examine all evidence, including the mission's communication logs and witness testimonies. The Admiral paused before continuing. I want you to be fully transparent throughout this process. Any inconsistencies could hurt your case, but honesty will be your strongest ally. Maya straightened her posture, feeling a renewed determination. Understood, sir. I'm ready. Over the next several days, the investigation unfolded. Officers, analysts, and legal experts pored over reams of data. Slowly, the truth began to surface. It became clear that during the mission, Maya had made quick decisions to protect innocent civilians caught in the crossfire, decisions that some commanders hadn't fully understood. What was initially perceived as insubordination was, in fact, an act of courage and integrity. Meanwhile, back at the base, Maya's colleagues rallied around her. Stories of her leadership and skill were shared, reinforcing the image of a professional who had earned respect through hard work and dedication. One evening, Maya received a message from Admiral Thornton himself: "Keep faith. The truth always finds its way." Those words stayed with her, fueling her hope as she prepared for the final hearing. The day of the final hearing arrived, and the courtroom buzzed with anticipation. Media reporters crowded outside, eager for updates, while inside, the atmosphere was charged with tension and curiosity. Maya walked in confidently, now free of restraints, carrying herself with the quiet strength of someone who had weathered a storm and was ready to face whatever came next. Admiral Thornton was present again, seated near Maya's legal team, his steady gaze a reassuring anchor amid the swirling uncertainty. The judge entered and called the court to order, signaling the start of the proceedings. The prosecutor began, revisiting the charges against Maya, outlining their version of events with a sharp tone. However, the tone in the room was different this time. There was less conviction in their words, and a subtle shift as the room awaited the defense's response. Maya's lawyer stood and presented the findings from the thorough investigation. He highlighted the communications logs, expert testimonies, and eyewitness accounts that clarified Maya's intentions during the mission. It became evident that Maya's actions were not only justified but aligned perfectly with the mission's goals and the highest standards of military conduct. The room was silent as video footage was played, showing Maya coordinating efforts to protect civilians and maintain her team's safety under intense pressure. The evidence painted a starkly different picture from the one originally presented. Then, Admiral Thornton stood, addressing the court with a firm and commanding voice. "Lieutenant Commander Bennett has demonstrated exemplary leadership and professionalism throughout her career and during this mission. To punish her for making difficult decisions in a complex and volatile environment would be a grave injustice." He looked directly at Maya, then at the judge. "I recommend all charges be dropped immediately, and that we honor her service with the respect she deserves." The judge nodded thoughtfully, his expression softening. "In light of this new evidence and the Admiral's recommendation, the charges against Lieutenant Commander Bennett are hereby dismissed." A wave of relief swept through the courtroom. Maya's supporters let out quiet cheers, and even some of the skeptics exchanged looks of respect. Maya rose, her voice steady and clear as she spoke. "I am grateful for the opportunity to clear my name. I serve not for recognition but for my country and the people I protect. Today, justice has prevailed." As she stepped down from the stand, Admiral Thornton approached her. "You earned this, Maya. You showed strength when it mattered most." She smiled, feeling the full weight of that moment, vindicated, respected, and ready to continue her mission. The courtroom emptied slowly, the echoes of the judge's decision lingering in the air. Outside, the sunlight felt warmer, the world a little brighter. Maya stood for a moment, taking it all in, the vindication, the justice served, and the journey she had endured. But the story didn't end with the dismissal of the charges. News of the case spread quickly, capturing attention across the military and beyond. Maya's resilience and unwavering commitment became an inspiration, sparking conversations about fairness, trust, and the importance of standing by those who serve with honor. At a formal ceremony held days later, Rear Admiral Thornton presented Maya with a commendation for her exceptional service and courage under fire. As he pinned the medal on her uniform, he spoke clearly, his voice carrying the weight of respect and admiration. "Lieutenant Commander Bennett, today we recognize not just your skill as a sniper, but your integrity, your bravery, and your dedication to the values we hold dear. Your actions remind us all why we serve." Maya's eyes glistened with pride. This moment was more than an award, it was a symbol of everything she had fought to protect: truth, honor, and justice. Her team gathered around, their smiles wide and genuine. They had stood by her side through every trial, and now they celebrated not just a victory in court, but the reaffirmation of their leader's strength and character. In the days that followed, Maya took the time to reflect. She reached out to young recruits, sharing her story, not as a tale of hardship, but as a lesson in resilience and faith in the system when it's allowed to work as it should. Challenges will come, she told them, but remember, your integrity is your strongest weapon. Stand firm, trust yourself, and never lose sight of why you serve. Her words resonated, planting seeds of confidence and determination in the next generation. Meanwhile, Admiral Thornton continued his work, quietly ensuring that fairness and respect became pillars in every case and mission under his command. And Maya? She returned to the field, her focus sharper than ever. The battles ahead were many, but now, she carried with her not only skill and training but the unshakable conviction that justice, when championed, could change everything. Months passed since the courtroom drama had concluded, but the impact of what had happened continued to ripple through the military community. Lieutenant Commander Maya Bennett's story became more than just a personal victory, it evolved into a symbol of integrity and perseverance within the ranks. Maya was invited to speak at several military academies and leadership seminars. Her calm and candid recounting of the ordeal resonated deeply with young officers and enlisted personnel alike. She emphasized not only tactical skills but the importance of character and the courage to stand up for what's right, even when the odds seem overwhelming. Back at her unit, Maya's leadership flourished. The experience had sharpened her focus, making her more empathetic and determined. Her team trusted her implicitly, not just because of her skill as a sniper but because they knew she would fight for them in every sense of the word. One afternoon, during a high-stakes training exercise simulating a complex hostage rescue, Maya's team encountered unexpected challenges. The scenario required quick thinking and seamless coordination, and Maya's decisive commands guided her team through the chaos. The exercise concluded with high praise from their superiors, affirming their readiness for real-world missions. Amid all this, Rear Admiral Thornton remained a steady presence in Maya's professional life. The two often communicated, exchanging ideas about leadership and ethics. The Admiral's support extended beyond the courtroom. He was committed to ensuring the military environment fostered respect and fairness for all who served. One evening, after a particularly grueling day of drills, Maya received a call from Thornton. "Maya, I want to offer you a role on a special advisory board," he said. "Your experience and insight could help shape policies that affect the entire fleet. It's a chance to make real change." Maya considered the offer. Serving on the board meant stepping away from frontline duties for a while, but the opportunity to influence systemic improvements was compelling. After careful thought, she accepted. In the months that followed, Maya worked alongside senior leaders and experts, advocating for transparent procedures and stronger protections for service members facing internal investigations. Her voice carried the weight of first-hand experience, and her proposals gained traction. The reforms led to enhanced training on ethical decision-making, better communication channels for personnel concerns, and stricter guidelines to prevent rushed judgments in disciplinary cases. Through it all, Maya remained grounded, remembering the difficult days when her own fate had hung in the balance. Her journey had come full circle, from a handcuffed defendant in a courtroom to a respected leader shaping the future of the military. In quiet moments, she reflected on the power of integrity and resilience. The ordeal had tested her beyond the battlefield, but it had also revealed her inner strength. Maya knew the path ahead would still hold challenges. Yet, armed with experience, support, and an unyielding commitment to justice, she was ready to face whatever came next. With the advisory role well underway, Lieutenant Commander Maya Bennett found herself navigating a new kind of battlefield, one of policy, leadership dynamics, and institutional change. The board meetings were intense, filled with rigorous debates and complex challenges. Yet, Maya approached each session with the same discipline and clarity that had made her a top-tier sniper. Her presence was a breath of fresh air among the seasoned officers. She spoke with conviction about the need for transparency, the importance of due process, and the value of preserving the dignity of every service member. Not everyone welcomed her ideas without resistance. Some viewed her proposals as disruptive or too idealistic. But Maya knew that change rarely came without challenge. She stood firm, backed by her experience and the unwavering support of Admiral Thornton. Outside the meetings, Maya maintained close contact with her unit, visiting when possible, offering guidance and encouragement. She understood the toll leadership could take and made it a point to be accessible, showing her team that no matter how high she rose, she remained grounded and connected. One afternoon, while visiting the training grounds, Maya encountered a young recruit struggling with self-doubt during a marksmanship drill. The recruit's hands trembled, and frustration was evident. Maya approached quietly and offered steady words. Take a deep breath. Focus on the target, not the noise around you. Trust your training. Confidence comes from within. The recruit nodded, taking a moment before steadying their aim. A clean shot followed. Better, Maya smiled. Remember, strength isn't just about skill, it's about believing you belong. That interaction stayed with Maya, a reminder of the power of mentorship and the importance of nurturing the next generation. Meanwhile, the policy changes she championed began to take root. A new protocol was implemented requiring independent review panels before any military personnel could be restrained or face formal charges. Training programs were enhanced to include ethics and conflict resolution. The atmosphere within the ranks slowly shifted, more open communication, greater trust in the system, and a renewed commitment to fairness. One evening, as Maya prepared to leave the base, Admiral Thornton approached her. Your work has made a difference, Maya, he said sincerely. You've turned a personal trial into a catalyst for lasting change. That's the mark of true leadership. Maya looked out over the horizon, the setting sun casting a warm glow. I'm just getting started, sir, she replied, determination shining in her eyes. Together, they stood in quiet solidarity, ready to face the challenges ahead, knowing that integrity and courage would continue to guide their path. The months that followed were filled with relentless effort and quiet victories. Lieutenant Commander Maya Bennett balanced her demanding role on the advisory board with her responsibilities to her team and the military community. Each day brought new challenges, but also new opportunities to strengthen the institution she loved. During a high-profile conference on military ethics, Maya was invited to speak alongside senior officers and policymakers. The room was packed with attentive faces, many eager to hear from someone who had lived the realities behind the policies. Stepping to the podium, Maya shared her journey, not just the courtroom ordeal, but the lessons learned about leadership, fairness, and the courage to uphold one's values even when tested. Her speech was met with respectful silence, then applause. She emphasized that true strength in the military came not only from physical skill or strategy but from integrity and the trust placed in one another. Afterward, several attendees approached her, expressing admiration and a shared commitment to improving the system. Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose. Back at the base, Maya continued to mentor younger soldiers, instilling in them not just technical knowledge but a sense of responsibility toward their comrades and the mission. One day, a familiar face arrived, a former adversary from the courtroom, an officer who had once questioned Maya's actions. Instead of tension, there was mutual respect. I misjudged you, the officer admitted quietly. Your integrity and leadership have proven me wrong. Thank you for showing me the way. Maya nodded, accepting the apology with grace. We're all here to serve and learn. The encounter was a powerful reminder that change was possible, not just in policy but in hearts and minds. As the advisory board's reforms were fully implemented, the military saw improvements in morale and cohesion. Officers felt more supported, and service members knew their voices mattered. One quiet evening, Maya sat in the mess hall, reflecting on the journey that had brought her here, from the handcuffs in that courtroom to a place of influence and respect. Her phone buzzed with a message from Admiral Thornton, proud of you. Keep leading with honor. She smiled, knowing that while the path had been difficult, the fight for justice was never in vain. With renewed resolve, Maya looked ahead to the future, ready to face new missions, challenges, and opportunities to serve her country with unwavering dedication. As the months unfolded, Maya's influence continued to grow, not just within her unit or the advisory board, but across the wider military community. Her story had become a beacon of hope and a blueprint for change. One morning, Maya received an urgent call from Admiral Thornton. A sensitive overseas operation was underway, and her unique expertise was requested on the ground. It was a critical mission, one that required not only tactical skill but seasoned judgment shaped by recent experiences. Within days, Maya was deployed with a specialized team to a volatile region. The mission's objective was to secure a diplomatic convoy threatened by hostile forces while minimizing civilian risk, a challenge that required precision and calm under pressure. From the moment they arrived, Maya's leadership was tested. The environment was unpredictable, with shifting alliances and constant threats. Yet, her team moved with discipline and trust, executing their tasks with efficiency. During a tense standoff, Maya's quick decision-making averted potential disaster. Enemy forces were closing in, but she coordinated a strategic withdrawal while ensuring the safety of all civilians in the area. The success of the mission reaffirmed her skills and the respect she commanded. Upon returning, Maya was welcomed with quiet pride by her peers and superiors. The mission's outcome reinforced the importance of experienced leadership grounded in integrity and tactical expertise. In debriefings, Maya emphasized lessons learned, not just about operational tactics but about communication and trust within a team. Later, at a high-level military conference, Admiral Thornton publicly recognized Maya's contributions, highlighting her as a model officer who exemplified the values of service, resilience, and honor. The acknowledgement was more than personal, it was a testament to the progress made when individuals and institutions work together toward fairness and excellence. Maya's journey, from the courtroom's handcuffs to frontline command and advisory leadership, stood as a powerful story of perseverance. She knew that every day would bring new challenges, but armed with experience, conviction, and support, she was ready to meet them head-on. Her mission was clear: to lead with integrity, inspire those around her, and ensure that justice and respect remained the foundation of service. The months that followed cemented Maya Bennett's legacy, not only as an exceptional SEAL sniper but as a transformative leader who had reshaped the culture around fairness and respect in the military. Her work on the advisory board led to lasting reforms that protected service members from premature judgments and ensured their voices were heard. More than that, Maya had become a symbol of resilience, inspiring countless others to stand firm in the face of adversity. One evening, at a formal ceremony held in her honor, Rear Admiral James Thornton stepped forward to address the gathered crowd. "Lieutenant Commander Bennett's journey embodies the spirit of service," he declared. She faced challenges that would have broken many, but she responded with courage, integrity, and unwavering dedication. Through her leadership, we are building a military that honors every member's worth and ensures justice for all. Maya accepted a prestigious commendation, her heart full. As she looked out over the crowd, fellow service members, friends, family, she felt the weight of her journey and the strength of the community that had supported her. After the ceremony, Maya found a quiet moment with Admiral Thornton. "Thank you for believing in me when it mattered most," she said. Thornton smiled warmly. "No, Maya. Thank you for reminding us all what true leadership looks like." From that day forward, Maya continued to serve, not only as a sniper but as a mentor, advocate, and leader who had changed the course of many lives. Her story was a testament to the power of integrity and the difference one person can make when they refuse to be defined by circumstances, but instead rise above them with strength and honor. They had once handcuffed a SEAL sniper in a courtroom, but what followed was far greater than anyone could have imagined: a legacy of justice, respect, and unwavering courage.